going to get started now. So I'm going to ask Felicia if she will come forth and do our welcome and give you a brief history of Engine Company number 9.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you said, my name is Felicia Mans, and I am a retired firefighter from Fairfax County Fire and Rescue Department. And some of my colleagues from my department are here today, and that was great to see them here. I want to welcome everyone, welcome friends, family, and honored guests. Engine Company 9 and Associates Incorporated was organized in September 1992 as an organization of pioneer former retired personnel, professional firefighters, law enforcement officers, and associates of the City of Richmond and metropolitan area. We pledge to preserve, protect, and promote the history of those courageous men and women who served as the first hires of African descent in the Richmond area as police officers and Richmond's first and Virginia's first firefighters of African American descent, also hired. Today we are highlighting our firefighters. On July 1st, 1950, the department hired its first Negro firefighters to form the first black unit in the city. 10 men were selected from 500 applicants. They were as follows: Charles L. Bell, William E. Brown, Douglas P. Evans, Harvey S. Hicks II, Warren W. Kersey, Bernard C. Lewis, Farrar Lucas, Arthur L. Page, Arthur St. C. John, and Linwood M. Woolridge. Arthur C. St. John was called to return to the military in 1950, and Frederick J. Robinson was hired in his place. When Farrar Lucas resigned in 1951, Oscar L. Blake was hired. All of the black firefighters were assigned to Engine Company number 9 at 5th and Duval Streets, where we are today. On June 14th, 1963, 2 members of Engine Company 9 lost their lives: Captain Harvey S. Hicks II and Douglas P. Evans during a rescue attempt. Engine Company 9 was demolished in 1968. On Saturday, July 1st, 2000, that location became a historical marker, as you see here. I want to thank you for all coming out. We have more to share with you, and welcome all friends, family, and guests.
And give us our opening prayer. I understand that Mr. Hurt just came in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us please bow our heads for the word of prayer. Eternal and gracious God our Father, God, we come to you today with thanksgiving on our hearts for the goodness and the mercy that you have showered upon us, God, even in all that has gone on. Here we are, still standing on this corner and standing on your promises. Lord, a few years ago, there was a call that went out for some people to help other people when they were in trouble. And Lord, we're so grateful this morning that that call was answered. And because somebody answered the call, we are standing here today on your promises, because we know that you love those that help others. Bless us today, Lord, as we assemble on this corner. But Lord, we know that sometimes those that help have to pay a price. But because we stood tall and were obedient to your word to come, we thank you this day. So Lord, bless these events for today. Take care of us. And we will be ever grateful to you. Keep us ever in line, Lord. Because there's always a call to come over and help. Thank you, Lord. Bless these people that have stood tall. And Lord, in the days to come, may there ever be other people that will be willing to ever help those that stand in need of help. This we pray in Jesus' name for his sake. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hurt. I love to hear him pray. When I was recuperating a few years back in 2019, I would call him when my spirits got low and have Deacon Hurt to pray with me and pray for me. Now, we are always happy to have our mayor come out to be with us. He's always so supportive. I communicate with his office on a regular basis, so they probably get tired of me, but I always need something. But you all know how that is. But anyway, please join me now in giving a very warm welcome to our mayor, Mayor Stoney.
Now, what some of y'all don't know is that me and Miss Betty go back a long ways. When I first arrived in Richmond, I worked alongside Betty Squire on political campaigns, and I got to know her grandson Anthony very well. And I got to know her son Tony very well as well. And so she's like my auntie. I got many aunties in Richmond. Y'all know that. They're all shaking their heads, looking at me like, "Don't forget us." So, Miss Betty, thank you so much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you all here, and I want to begin by thanking everyone for showing up on this very important occasion. First of all, let me start by thanking our fire chief, Melvin Carter, and to all the men and women who bravely serve our great city. Let's give them a round of applause. And I will be remiss if I did not recognize some of my aunties who have joined me this fine afternoon in the great city of Richmond. First, the City Council President, Cynthia Newbill. You will hear from her after me, Dr. Newbill. My other auntie, Vice President of the City Council, Ellen Robertson, with us. Also, the Chairwoman of the Richmond School Boards with us, Cheryl Burke. Catherine Jordan has joined us as well, the Councilwoman for the 2nd District. Also, I saw our Commonwealth's Attorney, Colette McKeechin, with us as well. And our Sheriff is with us as well, Antoinette Irving. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we mark the 71st anniversary of the hiring of the first black career firefighters in the city of Richmond, who, by the way, just happened to be the first black firefighters hired in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You know, back in 1858, when the first fire brigade was organized in Richmond, the city council authorized using slaves to supplement the 100 or so white firefighters on duty. But it wasn't until 92 years later, in July of 1950, that 10 African Americans were hired and paid to work in Engine Company Number 9, which was located right here at 5th and Duval. That firehouse, as you can see, is no longer here. But the legacy of service and the significant contributions and accomplishment of that first group and all those who followed lives on today. Breaking barriers is never easy, and it wasn't for these brave men. You see, Richmond in the early 1950s was a lot different than Richmond in 2021. Back then, there were actually some fire stations in the city where black firefighters were not even allowed to go through the front door. Imagine that. Black firefighters were also required to do more menial non-firefighter work, such as cutting grass and painting city buildings and delivering laundry. One of the first, Oscar Blake recalled responding to a fire at the home of an elderly white man who refused to let him enter to fight the fire in his own house. Imagine that. But these men persevered. They endured. They sacrificed, and they served. I think it's appropriate to point out it was okay for black men to cut the grass, to pick up the trash, but it was not okay for black men to be firefighters, police officers in the city of Richmond, to save lives in the city. That's the value that was placed on black men and black lives at that time. Now, years later, the results are significant and have made Richmond a better and safer city, a more inclusive and welcoming city. See, in 1963, the city started integrating the fire service. And in 1978, the city hired its first black fire chief, and a year later, the first African-American female firefighter was also hired. I often say that those of us who have the opportunity to serve in positions of leadership and public trust do not get to these places by ourselves. Remember, we are standing on the shoulders of giants, those who are our heroes and sheroes, who made Richmond better before we even got here. Men and women whose courage and determination forges a path for future generations to pursue their dreams by giving the opportunity for all of us to succeed. The opportunity to be judged, as Dr. King once said, on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. That is why we honor these first firefighters each and every year and celebrate this day, not just for what they did, but for what they allowed the rest of us to do. Right? What they allowed the rest of us to do. We are a better city because of that day, and it is our charge to continue the work before us to be a better, more equitable, and inclusive city, not just for today, but for tomorrow. Happy birthday.
That the president and vice president of city council to come forth. They too hear from me often, so you all don't have to worry about that. Like I say, I talk a lot. Come on, Dr. Newfield, president.
Solemn occasion. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a great celebration. I am honored to bring greetings on behalf of the Richmond City Council, and I'm joined today by Vice President Robertson, but also Councilwoman Catherine Jordan in bringing greetings. And in recognizing the greatness that this memorial captures here, in recognizing the distinguished roster of Richmond's and Virginia's first firefighters of African American descent. And I know we've read the names before, but I think it's worthy to hear them again. And so we're talking about Mr. Charles L. Bell, Mr. William E. Brown, Mr. Douglas P. Evans, Mr. Harvey S. Hicks II, Mr. Warren W. Kersey, Mr. Farrar Lucas, Mr. Bernard Lewis, Mr. Arthur Page. All right, thank you. Thank you, and thank you for sharing him with us. Mr. Arthur C. St. John and Linwood M. Woodbridge. Arthur C. St. John was recalled to military in 1950, as was shared before, and Farrar Lucas resigned in 1951. Their vacancies were filled by Frederick Robinson and Oscar. Thank you for loaning him to us. By Frederick Robinson and Oscar Blake, respectively. And I'm going to ask Ms. Jordan if you would come up with us as well. This is on behalf of City Council. Again, the pioneering efforts of these outstanding individuals are a tribute to their dedication, strength, and personal achievement, and mark the continued progress of Virginia and Richmond and the Richmond Department of Fire and Emergency Services in leading the way for progress during a disgraceful time in our nation's history, when the practice of racial segregation denied many people equal education, work opportunity, facilities, and accommodations. In 2019, Richmond City Council further established the recognition of July 1 as the Richmond and Virginia anniversary of hiring the first career firefighters of African American descent, and set that date in permanence and in perpetuity for that purpose. So we will always recognize on this date and stand on this space. And Ms. Squire, I just want to thank you for ensuring, and all of you who coordinated this, that we will never have hidden figures, as we know something about, because of your efforts. Really just want to say thank you. We stand on the shoulders of greatness. Absolutely. And we cannot thank them enough. We cannot recognize them and all of you enough. And so therefore, Richmond City Council again reaffirms the day of July 1st as we had as the Richmond and Virginia anniversary of hiring the first career firefighters of African American descent. We acknowledge these trailblazing firefighters, and herald this important chapter in the advancement of our city's progressive narrative arc on behalf of all of its residents. I simply want to say thank you again to all of you who worked to coordinate this event, chiefs, family members who lent your husbands, uncles, brothers to us in service to this city, and we simply say thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I don't want to pass up what was on the agenda. I had a little proclamation that I was going to present. I'm going to pass that on, but I'm not going to read it. And I just want to say to all of you, thank you so very much. I was listening to a documentary this morning about the failure of this country to recognize the contribution of African Americans stepping up to be firefighters for such a long time, and to commend all of the citizens of the city of Richmond for the progress that we have made to make sure that opportunities are made available to all people, and that we value the significance of all people in the process. But listening to the documentary, it's created a greater sense of awareness and appreciation to think that there are persons that come to work as a firefighter who, from one moment to the next, never know when that phone call is going to be made and there's a fire somewhere. And we never know whether it's going to be your home, my home, whether it's going to be your family, or your neighbor's family, or just the neighbor next door that you may or may not know. But to have courageous, professional people, men and women of our firefighting department, that will get on that truck and arm themselves, not knowing whether or not they will come out of the most horrendous enemy that we have, what a fire can do. To go in under any circumstance and risk their lives to protect us. A gratitude of thanks is little that we can do to express our appreciation for such a heroic profession and opportunity that we We have courageous, strong, and African American men and women, and all the other ones as well. But today we're celebrating. And I want to say happy birthday and happy anniversary as well. And to Miss Betty Squire, may God continue to give you the courage and the strength to be the leader that you have been in this community, to make sure that we never forget significant things that must always be remembered and commemorated. And that you are willing to always pick up that phone and call whoever is needed, and to call us more than once, and to send us another invite, and to ask us again whether or not we're going to show up. And I knew you were going to call me and say you were on the program. I expected you to say something, so good evening.
Didn't mean to leave Councilwoman from the 2nd District, Ms. Jordan, out. Now, can I see the hands of all of our other elected officials and all appointed officials here in the city of Richmond, outside the city of Richmond? Please raise your hand so people know who you all are. Okay? You can never repay our people for what they do. Being downtown is not very easy, and sometimes it can be very difficult. Okay, first responders. Let me see the hands of first responders. So you know who to call just in case you need them. Our first responders. They always come. Regardless of what's going on, if you call them and you need them, they will always be there. So we want to thank them. Now it's time to hear from our own chief. Chief, I think you're a native Richmonder, are you not? You are? And I'm proud of RPS, right? Okay. I'm proud of Richmond Public Schools. So, okay, Chief, the mic is all yours.
Yes. As my boss, the mayor, said, we are hiring. For your brothers, sisters, nieces and nephews, cousins, friends, neighbors. Today is the last day, though, at midnight tonight. That would be awesome. You know, I really, Ms. Squire, want to thank you and the members of Engine Company 9 for organizing this amazing event. It is one of the most robust and well attended that I've seen since I've been a member of our organization for the past 30 years. And as I look around the crowd, one of the things that I can truly say is that we are all connected in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Connected by church. My buddy Gary Flowers over there, sitting in the balcony of Ebenezer Baptist Church. You know, my pastor, Brenda Somerset. People I went to school with, Antoinette Irvin, babysitting my younger brother. So we are all one family and really connected. I want to talk about perseverance today. Richmond Fire Department has been around since 1858. They hired their first African Americans in 1950. The things that those men had to endure, had to put up with, had to overcome, had to go around, was just simply amazing. Some of the things that they had to do would be simply unconscionable today in the modern fire service. But yet they what? Persevere. And that's what we have to do. We have to remember that spirit. We have to honor that spirit. They were committed. It's not easy being a firefighter. It truly isn't. But since 1950, our gear has improved. Our standards have improved. Our strategic tactics have improved. Our approach to community service has improved. But the one thing that did not need to improve then or today is courage. Because the men of 1950, the courage that they embodied is living well today in our fire department. And so, yes, absolutely. So much so that two men on this marker behind me paid the ultimate sacrifice, risking their lives to save others so that they may live. Their perseverance and return on investment led to myself being the 21st fire chief for the city of Richmond. I was born on July 4th of 1963. July 4th, just think about the significance of that. 2 days later, the Richmond Fire Department will be integrated. And nearly 50 plus years later, I will become the city's first homegrown fire chief. So how remarkable is that? And as Mayor Stoney said earlier, our recruitment effort that's been 3 weeks in the making is one of the most diverse recruitment efforts we've ever had, at least in my time in the Richmond Fire Department. We leaned on Richmond Public Schools. We leaned on our faith community. We leaned on the business community. We leaned on every facet of the Richmond community life to ensure that everyone has equal and unabated access to these careers. These careers change jobs for decades, for generations. And as the 10 men, the marker behind us, were living examples of what commitment to a vision and a belief in their community, so that others like myself and other Richmond firefighters who have long since retired can be inspired to one day pick up that mantle and show others that this too is possible. So my friends and my family, anything is possible if we commit to it, if we call it out when we see it. These men lived through that. They called it out. They didn't shy away from their calling. I won't shirk or shy away from my calling. And so I thank you today for being here. I thank you for honoring the 10 that was hired not only in the state, but especially our city of Richmond. And I look forward to one day building a fire station in the city of Richmond, that's station number 9, that brings back the honor of these people. Thank you, everyone.
We have a very special segment in our program today, Lighting the Way. Last year, we lost 3 members of Engine Company number 9. We lost Mr. Jones of the police department, and we lost Mr. Bernard C. Lewis, who was the last surviving member of the original 10 last year, and Mr. Robert Neal. Due to COVID, we had to postpone the program that we would have had last year. So today, we remember them for their courage, their strength, and their dedication to the citizens of Richmond and beyond. Although their service was with the police and fire department, they lighted other pathways so that we all could have a better life. In our own way, let us continue to radiate the fullness of who they were. In February 2019 edition of the Key Awareness, there was an article that stated Heroes Among Us. And it showed the original firefighters and the original police officers with the first woman hired. And I'll keep this article close by, so whenever I want to look at something and uplift my spirit, that helps me. Heroes Among Us, we cannot argue with that. We simply agree that is a true statement. They were great role models. So in their honor and memory today, family members was asked to make remarks if they so desire and come and light a candle. So will the family of Willie C. Jones come forward now? And I'm going to ask the committee to assist them if they need any help.
Good evening, everybody. Appreciate it. And I'm not a long-winded person, so thank you again.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank you all for honoring my grandfather. This would have meant so much for him to be present for this. And I know he's looking down and so grateful just to be recognized for his hard work and dedication to what he's done to the city. So thank you all, and thank you, Ms. Byron.
Mr. Lewis's family. I talked to Mrs. Lewis before leaving home, and she said this was not a real good day for her, but she did want everybody to know that she appreciated your kindness and your love that was extended to her and Mr. Lewis. And she said Mr. Lewis loved the fire department. Whenever he had to go to the hospital or something like that, he didn't want an ambulance to come pick him up. He wanted the firemen to come and pick him up and take him there. That's what he wanted, and that's what he got. He always seemed to perk up when he was around them. Okay, now Mr. Bob Neal's family. Anyone from Mr. Neal's family here? I talked.
Church family to come.
Good, that's good enough.
Come on, Cheryl. Rose Hilton. Church family of Robert Neal. Bobby before he even got married. And he was a good man, and he followed after my father, and he too loved the fire department. And so I know that looking from above, he is so grateful that you all have taken the time to honor him today. And we thank you as his church family for doing that. And God bless you all.
Now we will entertain reflections from our guests, members of Engine Company Number 9. If you have anything that you would like to add to the program at this time, I'm going to ask you to be brief, but please let us know. I think if Mr. Page family members are here. I talked with her on yesterday, and you have some comments you'd like to make?
Good afternoon, all assembled guests. We are just so honored to be here today. I'm going to bring all my family out. I got them all out. I'm his daughter, the oldest one. This is his grandson, that's his granddaughter, and these are the great-grands. We are so honored to be here today. Don't listen to me while I tell my age. I was 3 years old when my dad got inducted into the fire department. And I don't remember then, but I remember him studying, and I remember him getting refused. He earned positions, but I remember him getting turned away. Not because of the content of his character, but because of the color of his skin. But my dad always taught us. I would see him hurt, and a couple of times was the first time I had actually seen him cry. But he told us, it's okay. I won't give up. Like Chief Carter said, I will persevere. I won't give up. I will keep trying. I'll keep my nose clean. I'll remain a gentleman. And those are things that he instilled in my sister and myself and his grandchildren. To persevere, keep your nose clean, remain a lady, remain a gentleman. There are ways to protest, but you can protest peacefully. And he always instilled that into us, and I appreciate that. I applaud and I appreciate all the men of Engine Number 9. They were like brothers. Talk about fraternity. They were a fraternity. They stuck together, they played together, they prayed together. So I am just honored today and so appreciative that Ms. Squire and others have organized this event. And so
we just want to say thank you, and we're proud of the legacy that my grandfather left, as well as the rest of the Engine Number 9. So this is a great day in African American history. We're proud to be here.
On the phone, we talk at least a half an hour or so, and this is my first time meeting her. Okay, does anyone else have anything to say, Chief? Do you have anything else to say?
Is that the effort and the perseverance of these men, the effort and commitment and the perseverance of these men, that tree is still bearing fruit today. And so they definitely will not be forgotten. Their honor, their memory, and their commitment to our city will definitely not be forgotten. Thank you.
My name is Brenda Blake Somerset. I am the oldest daughter of Oscar L. Blake Sr. I was also the oldest fire baby when the firemen were established. I'm 76. Everybody else is younger than I am. But there are so many memories that each of us could express to you about that fire station and those firemen. I got the opportunity to slide down the pole, which to a 6-year-old was just the most wonderful thing in the world. All of these men, as Sister Paige has said, they were men of quality, not just intelligence, but they had great character, and they exposed that character to so many others. There were a lot of men, even Melvin, who was a member of the church where my father attended, was influenced by this great man. So each and every fireman who is assembled here today stands on the backs of great men. Men who loved the work that they did, men who loved each other, and men who had the city of Richmond in their best interest. So Sister Squire, thank you. And all of the associates of Engine Number 9 for the efforts that you put into celebrating our men. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. I wish to thank each of you, and especially the fire department, for recognizing my brother Frederick D. Robinson. And he was such a lover of the firefighters. Until his last breath, he talked about the firefighters. And I am happy to be here today to say to each of you, thank you for recognizing and remembering my brother, Frederick Robinson.
Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to ask Officer Carol Allen to come forth and tell you about upcoming events.
So somebody already said celebrate. So we are talking about the 75th and the 71st anniversary of our public safety. Those trailblazers, we want you all to join us on August the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And we are having a weekend of celebrations. On Friday night, the 6th, we're going to unveil a mural that's going up right now. We want you all to stop at 613 North 2nd Street so you can see the amazing work that Sir James Thornhill and James Ford will be doing. And so we're excited that we can put them on this wall. We can put them on public display because our children need to know who these men and women were, who were our trailblazers, because our kids don't know our history. So we need to start and putting it out front so everybody can see, because we without them, like others have said, I could definitely not exist in this world and wear the uniform that I wear. And then on Saturday, August the 7th, we're going to have an honorary celebration with all family members of our trailblazers and all those who follow and our supporters. We're going to be at the Trinity Life Center at 3601 Deal Road. We're going to have wonderful speakers, entertainment, but then just to celebrate and all of us coming together. We have tickets on sale for our event, and on Sunday we get together for church service. So we will be at church from 9 to 11, again at Trinity Life Center. And we want you all to join us to tell everyone, because we want everyone to acknowledge this history. With 75 years is not that long ago, and I'm closer to 75 than I am to 25. You know what I'm saying? And so we need to, because I'm saying that wasn't that long ago. And so we need to continue to blaze these trails so our young people can step into these shoes and these occupations. And they need to know it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be a police officer or a firefighter. And so our goal is to teach them how to maneuver and to become servants of our city. So I'm going to let James Thornhill come up and talk a little bit more about the project, but we have tickets. They're $75 for all 3 days because we want to have some refreshments and entertainment and stuff. So please come on out and stop by the mural any day and any time. I'm there at Facebook Live and all the time so everybody can see what's going on. Thank you all.
Greetings, everyone. I want to give a warm thank you to the family of these brave. I want to give a warm, thank you to the families and the friends of these brave souls. And thank you so much. It's an honor and a pleasure for myself and my team to paint this mural. One of the most captivating part of this process is interviewing the 95 and 5-year-old auntie and and everybody else. We interviewed the brothers, and to hear these stories live from the family to give us information so that we can paint this project as accurate as possible. If you go around to the Mocha Temple, which is 618 on 2nd Street, we are starting, we are live, we got them on the wall, y'all. If you miss it, it's gonna be over because we ain't wasting no time. We got things to do, we got projects to do. So, right now we're gonna need your assistance. We need anybody that can donate to help us out. We're depending on our community because this is a community project. And we put out at least 500 flyers to the community. Miss Adams brought about 20 kids down. Little tots like this going from door to door, and they were so excited because people, neighbors were talking with them, and one little girl came back with $15. She said, Mr. James, somebody gave me some money. She was so excited. But it gives them an opportunity to participate. When they don't see anything on the walls but graffiti and tagging, what do you think? But now they're going to see these gentlemen. When we paint them on the wall, the memory will last forever. And we're also looking to get some historical plaques, Mr. Stoney, to put on all these walls. Let me put you on the spot, bro. You know, we like this, right? You and me like
downtown.
This. Yes, downtown. Right. But we want to get some historical plaques to make sure that nothing happens to these murals. You have Jackson Ward mural tours. You have a lot of people coming in now. And these murals are bringing people in. They are bringing revenue to the business around there. And as we do these murals to clean up the graffiti, because once you notice all the graffiti and writing on everything, it's ridiculous for our community to be like this. I was born and raised on Duval Street. I saw the Wall Street. I saw this thing happening, the Black Wall Street. So we are definitely committed to the process. We have Janet. We have the donation bucket right there for anybody that wants to give. And the flyers we have by GoFundMe and every link you can possibly touch in order to get this money, in order to help these kids give scholarships and do more historical murals. My time is up? Okay, but the process continues. Come out there, bring your chairs. There's some shelter out there. Mocha Temple, heads off to Mocha Temple. They allowed us to paint this building, and they are making sure that the kids are okay. They allowed us to come and use that facility as well. But anyway, long story short, there's a shelter out there. Come on out, bring your music, bring your chairs, join us. We out there in the morning when it's cool, and at night when the sun goes down. Thank you all. Look forward to seeing you.
We're getting ready to close now. And I'm going to ask all members of Engine Company number 9 to start making your way to the podium, please. Please take a few moments after the program begins to look at our display that we have around the fence.
There you go. It's not you. See, I got those good keys as well.
Let's get over here. Why I'm paying more than teachers.